Research by DCU indicates that settlement in the village dates back to at least the mid-11th century, while the ring forts, located beside the river to the west of the village, were built between 600 and 900 AD. At the turn of the 12th century, the O'Connors, kings of Kerry, moved from their Doon Point, Ballybunnan stronghold to Asdee, meaning the plain of the Black Waterfall, where the village is now situated. This move was carried out to facilitate an alliance between the O'Connors and the O'Briens, who were the kings of Thomond, and the descendants of Brian Boru, the last High King of Ireland. The calmer waters around Asdee allowed the O'Connors safer passage across to the O'Brien stronghold of what is now County Clare. By 1146, the O'Connors had built a castle in the area to consolidate their power, and the area's name was changed to Asdee, meaning Castle of the Black Waterfall. 3 kingships ruled from Asdee before the O'Connors moved to Carrigafoyle Castle as the result of a marriage arrangement at the end of the 12th century. The castle in Asdee fell into disrepair over the years, with some of the stones from the castle eventually being used in the building of the 3 bungalows beside the church in the village. The Black Waterfall, from where the village gets its name, was quarried by the British prior to the mid-18th century, leaving a smaller version of the original waterfall remaining a short distance upstream of the village. The river rises in 3 separate locations at the top of the hill overlooking the village. 2 sections are close to the Shannon Trail, while the third rises over near Canuckanore, joining the river at different stages as it meanders downhill to the Shannon Estuary. The estuary is home to Ireland's only resident pod of bottlenose dolphins. The dolphins are visible from Littor Strand, our local beach, which has proudly won the Green Coast Award for the past 8 years. There are boat tours from across the estuary in Kilrush, dolphin watching, and over to the monastic Scattery Island. Along with the dolphins, Littor plays host to numerous seagulls and various migrant waders throughout the year, such as Brent geese, who migrate from Greenland and Canada, dunlins, who arrive from Scandinavia and Siberia, oyster catchers from Iceland, and ring plover, who also come from Iceland and the Baltic region.
This is your 30-second kick sample, part of our citizen science project. We're down here in Asdee, and you just do, as you saw there, it's a real simple little kick sample with your net. It's very simple, but it gives a really good indication of what the water quality is like in your river or stream, and anybody can do this with a small bit of training. Mayflies, they're flattened because they like to stick themselves to the rocks, and the water flows over them, so they're a bit more kind of aerodynamically or hydrodynamically kind of shaped. They're very flat. And if you look down along his back here, you've got his 3 tails, and you see the little feather-like movements out along the side. They're actually his gills, and he's pushing water over his gills to get oxygen. So these guys are your good water quality indicators. You also have your black fly midge larvae, which are stuck on over here. And these are the guys that when they hatch on a summer's evening, they have a tendency to bite you. So this guy has 2 tails, and he's actually your stonefly. And when you get stonefly in your water sample, it's a sign that it's really good water quality. And the kick sampling method is called it's a biological method. So you're looking at what's living in the river. And when you figure out what's living in the river, you know what the long-term kind of nutrient quality of the water is. You can take chemical samples, but they only give you a snapshot in time. So there could be a high nutrient load come down, but it could flush itself out. Whereas when you do a biological sample, you actually see what's able to live in the river, and long term, that gives you a long term view of what the water quality is like. So when you're getting stoneflies and mayflies, it's a really good sign of water quality. You know, we're not getting our louses, we're not getting our leeches, and we're not getting our snails from what I can see. So, you know, the water quality, once we tot it up, when we go back to the jeep, it should be coming back. It's pretty good, but there's a lot of flattened mayflies here, which is a really good sign, and your stonefly, which is an excellent sign. Your mayflies and stoneflies, they're actually called shredders, and what they do is they live in the bed of the river, but what they actually do is they break down all this stuff that we call leaf litter. Okay, so you've got lots of riparian vegetation, and lots of that falls into the river, and what these guys do, they have a really important role in that they shred up all the leaves, and they feed on that. And then in turn, the bugs, the mayflies and the stoneflies, they provide food for your kingfishers, other bugs living in the river, which then go on to provide food for your fish. So, you know, it's all interlinked. And the other thing, if you ever wanted, if you don't have a kick net, you can always just pick up a stone in the river. That might have been, you know, undisturbed. I just have a look under it and you'll see. So that's your flattened mayfly. There's another flattened mayfly. If I could give them a little push. That's your green caseless caddis, sign of good water quality. Your stonefly, sign of good water quality. And your flattened mayflies, also signs of good water quality.
We are proud of the connected history that our village, our river and the Shannon Estuary share. Our proposed river walk would help to enhance our knowledge of our local biodiversity and to ensure that our river plays an important role in our community for generations to come.